Too much SPL here, back at you again, and it has been a long time. I'm so sorry I haven't been uploading videos for you guys, but I am back. I'm going to introduce to the channel our 73 Nova. This is a work in progress already. We have LS swapped this thing. We put a shortened 8.8 in the back end, 4L80 E-Trans. We put the glass in. We bought this thing as a roller from about 3 hours away a couple years ago, and we're going to actually show you guys some things on LS swapping your vehicle on how to get some of this stuff done easily and cheaply. Our first video is going to be how to remove VATS from a PCM. And we're going to be trying to do these things for cheap, and I'm going to show you what's all involved and what all you need to actually do this at home. There are a couple ways to do it. One is the very expensive HP tuners, which does have its place. Unfortunately, for most of the guys who are going to be doing an LS swap on an old car like this, or whether it be a fucking square body or a G body, it don't even matter what it is, you don't need HP tuners to take VATS off. You will need a program. PC Hammer is one, and the other one's going to be called Universal Patcher. We're going to be downloading both of those programs today from square one, and I'm going to show you exactly what all you need to get everything up and rocking. Before we even get to the laptop version, I'm actually going to show you what you're going to do and what you're going to need. You can actually do this if you have the LS already in the vehicle and you've already ran all your wiring and everything is going fine, and you just need VATS taken off. You can actually flash the computer, the PCM, in the vehicle. I don't recommend you doing that just off straight battery power. If you are going to do it that way, I highly recommend you put your battery charger on the battery. I know there's a lot of people going to say, well, my battery's brand new and I don't need that junk. You're going to be sitting there with a brick PCM and my questions asking me how to unbrick the shit, and I just don't know how to do that yet. So put the battery tender on there and save us all the trouble. I like to do mine basically outside the vehicle. I'm going to do it. So I'm going to flip this camera around. I'm going to show you my cheap old workbench harness that I made to do LS swap flashing with, and hopefully you can follow along what I did. As you can see, I already got the PCM out of the vehicle already, and this is my cheap old harness. I'm actually going to show you two things before we even get started. A lot of us who wrench on cars are familiar with these old M327, basically Bluetooth adapters. These are great for getting codes out and stuff like that, and they have their place. Unfortunately for flashing, these will not work. You're going to need a slightly more expensive solution. It is the MX, the OBDLink MX Plus. They have a cheaper version, and they have this version. Actually, they have a mid-level version too. I'm not sure on that one. I'm not hawking this stuff to you guys. This is just what I use. This works the best for me. These are about 130 bucks, and they can do everything that cheap one can do, and probably 10 times even better. Once I got one of these, my cheap L1 I got, the cheap L327 that I got from eBay, sits unused and I never even touch it anymore. When we flip the camera, we're going to show you the bench harness. And I pretty much built this bench harness for free. I was going to make a video on how to do the bench harness, but there are about 10 on YouTube already. So this was free. I got this from any old device that it might have been like a modem or something like that. One thing to be sure of when you are going to build this at home is to make sure, I'm going to try to zoom this in best I can. Make sure on output it says 12 volts with at least 1.0 amps on it. And the reason being is you don't want this to go too low on amps, because if it goes too low on amps, it's going to break the PCM. And the same problem the guys are going to have if the flash in the vehicle and the battery goes dead, they're going to end up with a brick PCM as well. You're a little more safer with a bench harness because this is going to pretty much output 1.0 at all times, basically. It could be higher than 1.0, it could be 2.0 or anything like that. It just can't be anything under like 0.5. If you see a 0.5, throw that shit in the trash and look for another one. The OBDII port, I snatched this out of the very first vehicle in the LKQ that day. It might even been a good God, it might even been a Ford or something. It does not have to be an LS vehicle. If you don't want to go to the junkyard, they sell these. I'll put a link for these in the description. They sell these on eBay for like $8-9 bucks with a million pigtails coming out, but you pretty much only need 3 or 4 pigtails. What did cost me is this switch. This is, yes, a typical house switch. And all this is really doing is turning the key on and turning the key off. This is important in your bench harness because when you're done flashing, you do not want to just yank this thing out of the PCM or yank this from the wall. The PCM basically needs the key off sequence to save everything. Early on in the early days, a lot of people were just unplugging things and they couldn't figure out why they tuned or they flash didn't take, and that was the reason why. So if you're going to build a bench harness, it doesn't have to be a house switch. You can go get a fancy $5 switch. You just need simple on and off toggle ability, basically. This was 99 cents. I like cheap, I like function, and that's the way it goes. The keen eye people might notice that my blue harness is much thinner than the blue harness that comes out of the truck. I snatched this out of a, good God, it could have been a 99 Silverado or something like that. And I got all this stuff for free. Like I said, I got the OBDII harness for free, and I got this for free. I made sure I took it out of a truck that already had the engine gone, so that way the guy at the register would be a little more lenient and let me have it, and which they always do. I did depin this to get rid of all the wires that we did not need. The wires that remain are wires that are needed to flash. We don't need the green harness, or depending if you got a green-red harness, you don't need the red one. I didn't need the green one because you don't need the blue to flash either a 411 or a P59 PCM. I'm going to zoom in close so that way you guys can see the wires that are missing. So that way if you want to replicate this on your own, there's a couple of instructions online on how to do this. And there's a ton of videos on how to make this harness, and it'll look 10 times even better than mine. But I like function and I don't need to be pretty for this. So I'm going to zoom this in and I'm going to slowly pan so you can see what wires are left if you want to depin your harness. And I am using every single one of these wires. So don't skimp the wires because you're definitely going to need them for bench flashing. So with that being said, let's get our laptop down here. We're going to bring the laptop downstairs. We're not going to actually do it on the vehicle. We're going to do it right here on the bench. And I'm going to show you what the great thing this piece, the Universal Patcher program, can do. You will need two programs to get everything involved. One program reads the PCM and puts a file on your computer. The other program modifies that bin file. I already had them pre-installed, but I'm actually going to delete them, install them from scratch, so that way you can see what it takes to get one of these programs up and running. One of the programs is a little temperamental, but we're going to actually go through it together, and we're going to show you what all it takes to get it up and running. So I reinstalled the PCM back in the vehicle, and I actually turned the VATS on before I did that, so that way I can be truly at step one, just like you, and we can get this thing rocking. So I'm going to actually turn the key forward, and you're going to see it's going to pretty much cut off pretty much how your car's probably cutting off. So fuel pump is on, ignition on, and that's the PCM telling us that, hey, your key does not match what I'm expecting to see. So we're going to yank this PCM back out, we're going to put it on the bench, and we're going to get started. So we're back with the PCM back on my makeshift bench, which is really just a garbage can. We got the laptop down here. We're going to start plugging some things in. I'm going to move this out of the way because we don't need it. This was just kind of showing you guys what's up. I got the blue port plugged into the PCM. The Bluetooth adapter is receiving power, and we currently have the key off. So I've actually made it forget this, so that way you can see from step one what it takes to get one of these on the on a computer. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hold on to pairing. There's a little button on here. It's really, really small. It's right under the O in OBDLink. So I'm going to press that and hold it, and it should start flashing the Bluetooth in a slightly different pattern, I think. But if it doesn't, I'm just going to hold it for like 10 seconds, and that's usually enough for every device. And we're going to come back to the computer, and I'm going to just scroll up here to hit add device. And then we're going to hit Bluetooth and more, and it's right at the top. So we're going to connect to it, and you can ignore this code right here. You don't have to hit that. Just hit connect again, and you should be good. And then once it says OBDLink MX connected, that's totally fine. But once it connected once, that's pretty much all you need. So we're going to X off of this. And now we're going to go to get PCM Hammer, and we're also going to install Universal Patcher at the same time. All right, so we're going to launch our browser real fast, and we're going to go onto the top bar. We're just going to type in PCM Hammer. We're going to go to the first GitHub. And I know a lot of people have never used GitHub before, but it's all right. We'll do it together. I'm going to scroll this down a little bit. And right over here in the right-hand corner, I don't know if you can see this, we're going to click right here. And it's going to take you to another page where the zip file is going to be probably at the bottom. So we're going to scroll this down. And we're going to get this PCM Hammer. I highly recommend you guys stick to the real GitHub and websites for these programs. I like to go to the bottom and click this. And then I like to come here, and then I like to right click on this, and then we're going to hit extract all, because you can't run the program from the zip. And I'm going to hit extract. I'm going to X off of that. We're going to minimize this. I'm sorry, I'm a little zoomed in. And the good thing is on the GitHub for this, he actually has a link to Universal Patcher, which is great for us because they kind of go hand in hand. But if you don't want to trust this link, you can type universalpatcher.net in, and it'll pretty much take you to that website. Like I just clicked the link. And then we're going to click download, because remember, we need both of these programs. And then we're going to hit download the latest version. And in the upper right-hand corner, it just downloaded that fast. So now we're going to go back to our folder. And now you can see Universal Patcher is also in there. So, and this is also a zip file. So we're going to extract this one as well. And now we're going to end up with Universal Patcher and PCM Hammer on our laptop. We're going to put some shortcuts on our desktop to make these a little easier to launch. This is the launcher for Universal Patcher. So I'm going to hit show more options, I guess, and create shortcut right there. And then we're going to drag that shortcut that appeared at the top. We're going to, as you can tell, I'm not really a keyboard guy. I'm a laptop guy. I'm definitely a PC desktop guy. And we're going to do the same thing for PCM Hammer. Make sure when you do click this, you don't go into the zip. You actually go into the unzip folder. So I'm going to double click that, and it's in another folder. And then you got to kind of scroll down for this one. And there it is right there at the bottom. And then we're also going to create a shortcut for this one. Create shortcut. And where the fuck did that put that? That's more than likely at the top. So, and then we're just going to drag this window down, and we're going to drag this shortcut to outside. So that way, this is a little easier to get to. I know we are going to do some things. I'm just going to move these over a little bit. Get them out of our way. We're going to make a folder on our desktop. And basically this folder is going to be our bin file. I like to make two folders. I like to make one folder with an unmodified bin in it from our PCM. So that way, if anything ever went wrong, we can always flash that back to our computer if we ever need it. Lord forbid if we ever needed it. So we're going to make a one folder. We're going to call this folder Untouched Bins. So, and this, we're going to put this folder way over here so nobody ever touches it. And I like to try to make a habit of not modifying any file in here. If I needed a bin out of this folder, I'm going to copy it to another folder and modify that one, so that way these pretty much stay untouched. So we're going to make a second folder, and you can put these folders anywhere you want on your computer. This is just one of those things I like to do, and we're going to call this second folder Modified Bins. And this is just one of those things that will help you out. And we're going to drag this folder, we're going to put it down at the bottom over here, so that way you have them on your desktop if you ever needed them. All right, guys, let's get PCM Hammer working, and this is the temperamental one. I said, I know this video is long, but I'm going to do it step by step, and I don't give a shit who don't like it. Info and run anyway. Oh, that sucked that it actually ran. I was hoping this did not run, but I've ran it before, so it knew what COM to select. When you first launch this, I'm trying to think of a way can I fake this for you guys to show you what happens. And when I first launched this, it doesn't know which COM to select. On my Windows 10 PCM, it's COM 4. On this computer, it was COM 7. You basically have to go through these one by one. As a matter of fact, I'm going to click this and I'm going to show you what really happens. And we're going to click OK. And I'm going to close the program off. And it's also, and this is what I said, it's kind of temperamental. You see, it didn't even want to close just now. So we're going to launch it again. And it's going to simulate what's going to happen if you had a problem right off the bat. Which we are going to now have a problem now because we selected COM 3. And that's not the right COM. And you can probably see it right there. Unable to initialize OBDLink or All Pro on COM 4. We selected COM 4. So you would have to come down here and you would have to try these out one by one until you got to the right COM. When you're selecting these, sometimes it might crash. And what I like to do is if you do end up on the wrong one, it doesn't connect right away. Before you even launch, before you even get to this screen, drag this completely over so you can always double click multiple clicks on this to keep relaunching the program to get you to the right one so you can keep retrying without having to hit Control Alt Delete and the task manager to shut the program down. But once you do get the right one time, you're going to be greeted with pretty much that. And once you get that right there, you are pretty much ready to rock. So I'm going to come back some now so you can kind of see what's really going on. We're going to go to our left. We're going to turn our key on, just like that. And usually about 10 seconds or so, everything's juicy and ready to rock. The program's going to actually ask you if you're ready to rock, but you're going to see that for your own. So we're going to hit Tools, and we're going to hit Read Entire PCM. And we're going to put this in our untouched bin. And we're going to name this, let's name it something good. We're going to call it Nova OG bin version 1. And I like to number things because it gives you a sense of direction on which way you're going and what happened and all that good stuff. So we're going to hit save. And it's telling us, has the PCM been powered on for 10 seconds? We've been powered on for about 30, 40 seconds at this point. So we're just going to hit continue. If you don't hit continue, it'll do it on its own. And this is what it's going to start doing. You're going to hit unlock unsucceeded. And basically, it's going to start reading the PCM for us. You're going to see the activity light and all that good stuff flashing. And it's going to put that bin file into the untouched bin folder. So that way we can use the other program, Universal Patcher, to modify it. So this is going to take about 17, 18 minutes. And we're going to pause the video and we're going to come back at the end. So right now the PCM Hammer program is finishing up the read process. It's slowly coming to an end, and we should have a bin file untouched in our untouched bin folder. Zoom out, and I can see we have something in the folder now, which is great. And that's our bin. And this file is, at this point, ready to be modified. So what we're going to do is we're going to right-click on this. Sorry if things going in and out of focus, but I'm trying to hold the camera and look at the keyboard at the same time. And let's, how the fuck do you copy on here? I think it's this right there. So let's copy, and let's minimize, and then let's paste this into this folder. Where the hell is paste? I'm sorry guys, I just kind of suck with this right now. So we're gonna zoom back out, and we're just gonna minimize PCM Hammer for now because we don't need it anymore. And we're just gonna double click this. I'm trying to look at the keyboard and the camera at the same time, just to make sure everything is good. And there's our copied file and our modified bins. And we're going to modify this one so that way we preserve this one and as being untouched, even though there are some other things I don't want to mention. So here's our Universal Patcher program we downloaded earlier. We're going to launch Universal Patcher, and we're going to get this prompting in, and we don't care about any of that because we are running anyway. And you're going to be greeted with all this good stuff like this. And we're going to go up here to File, Open Bin, and we're going to go to our desktop because that's where our unmodified bin folder is actually at. Remember, we're going to click this one. And it's going to load the bin in. You're going to see some stuff like this happening. Now, the Universal Patcher program is great because we can turn the E fans on. We can put an E85 table in here, all with the click of just a simple mouse click, basically. We can do a segment swap. We can do a lot of great things with this program that HP Tuners can do. Even though HP Tuners has its place as far as real fine tuning, this program can do a lot of things at home to get you rolling, so to speak, for us. I'm actually going to walk the camera over here and show you everything that we've done. Not to distract from the video, but this came out of Silverado truck with a mechanical fan, and we've taken the mechanical fan off, and we put 300M fans on here, and we've used the GM fan harness to tie into our PCM to turn electric fans on at whatever temperature we punched in on a computer, basically, over there. Even if you don't have the GM harness, they make a $39 fan harness that can tie into the GM PCM and do the exact same thing for you, provided if you had the dual electric fans like we wanted to do. And you can do all this stuff basically at the click of a mouse. Excuse the messy garage, y'all. So back to our program. To keep things simple, we're going to go up here and we're going to type VTD in. I'm hoping that helps me jump through the entire list so we have to scroll everything down and do all that stuff. And we're going to go to Vehicle System. And we're going to go to Theft. And right now, I'm going to kind of show you this, what it's saying. Your security is turned on because it says Class 2. Right? And that's why our car didn't start up. So we're going to switch this right now. And it is just that simple. So we're going to turn it to none. And then we're going to hit File. And we can actually save bin, or we can save bin as. If you're doing a lot of changes, maybe save bin as might be your best friend. So I'm going to change this to version 2. And then we're going to hit Save. And then you're going to hit Apply Modification. We're going to hit Yes. And just like that, this bin no longer has VATS on it. And we're going to X this box off. We're going to go back to PCM Hammer. I don't know, I had 2 versions running right now, but I'll deal with that later. And this is where it gets fun. We're going to hit Tools. I like to do, you could do right operating system calibration and boot, or right parameters, or you could do full flash. For a minor change like that, we could do this one, but we're going to do a full flash just to make sure everything, if you change a lot of things, it will actually go through. So right now it remembers the untouched bin folder. I'm sorry about the focus, y'all. So we're going to go to Modify Bins, and we're going to click version 2. And the PCM never got turned off, so we're just going to hit Continue. And it's going to start writing. I think the write process takes about maybe a little less time, probably about 8 minutes. So we're going to pause the video and we're going to come back. All right, everything is done. That actually took about 2 minutes. One thing I want to show you guys is that when PC Hammer is writing, it only writes the things that it needs to write. In our case, we only changed one calibration, which was the VATS basically for us. So it doesn't have to write the whole operating system and all this stuff all over again. Even though we selected it, it won't do unnecessary writes. So at this point, we have successfully flashed our modified VATS from our modified bin onto our PCM. We can now turn the ignition off. We can leave the program running, it doesn't matter. We're gonna turn the ignition off. We're gonna wait about maybe 10 seconds to make sure everything shuts down. You won't see any lights changing on this. And we're gonna take this PCM and plug it right back into our Nova, and this thing's gonna fire up and it's gonna run, it's gonna idle, and it's gonna do everything you want a PCM to do. All right, we're back at the Nova. PCM is here laying on the floor with a bunch of other wires, excuse the mess. And we're gonna turn this key forward, fuel pump on. Whoa, she didn't start it right away. Let's try her again. And she's running. She's stumbling a little bit, but she's running. I got a cam in here, so it sounds a little choppy, but it's not so bad. But as you can hear, we got a full success. And I'm gonna cut it off before it stinks the garage up. But as you can see, that is how you take that off a PCM and get your LS swap running and on the road. So if you want to see more videos about PCM Hammer and Universal Patcher, I would love to do a video about the E-fans and 4L80 segment swap and stuff like that. And we can change a lot of stuff inside Universal Patcher. It's a great program, and there's going to be a lot of eggheads coming along. And if you guys want to join us in the fun, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. See you next time.